New this morning, anyone who's battled an addiction to drugs or alcohol knows it's a tough fight.
But couple that with a mental health problem like depression, and some call it double trouble. In Columbiana County, I met up with several people who say support can make all the difference.
You don't have to hit rock bottom to ask for help. It's out there. You just need to put yourself out there and ask.
Jamie Smith shows me the headlines from her childhood as a pageant winner, but admits all the crowns couldn't sugarcoat the trouble at home.
My dad was a nuclear engineer. He had everything going for him, but he still battled with alcohol throughout his life.
Now Jamie admits that family history caught up with her 2 years ago when she made headlines again by wrapping her car around a telephone pole.
I had acquired a DUI. It was very public. It was very embarrassing.
And it forced the young mother of two to admit she was an alcoholic and needed mental health counseling. She credits support groups like AA for helping to dig her out of trouble.
Improvement is the goal.
Dave Wallenhurst is a support and recovery coach who himself battles a mental health disorder coupled with an alcohol addiction. His minimum wage job with Columbiana County's Mental Health Board is now to help others juggle the same double-edged sword.
We help hook people up with meetings, church activities, anything positive, as opposed to not doing nothing all day and turn to drinking or something.
The Apple Grove homes are one of a number of independent living communities for people in Columbiana County with mental illness problems. And it's here that once a week that a special group meets, and they call it Double Trouble. The coffee's brewing and they gather around a table. And in the 12-step fashion of AA, they try to help each other.
My name's Bill, and I'm a recovered alcoholic.
Some here are bipolar or schizophrenic. Then add a weighty addiction of drugs and alcohol, and many didn't show up for support the day our camera was here. Administrators admit this double trouble group is often the hardest to get into counseling at all.
They kind of given up. So now you're giving them not only hope, but the tools, educationally, emotionally to cope, but also the social supports that they need.
And Jamie insists it's worth fighting the stigma by asking for help.
With attending these meetings and counseling, you find out that you are not at all the only one struggling. There are so many common factors that you share with people that it does give you a new sense of hope, and you don't feel so alone.
Now, Dave Wallenhurst, the recovery coach you saw in the piece, basically told me sometimes you're just fighting the boredom. A lot of people, they're fighting a mental health problem at home. Maybe they don't even have a car to drive around. Sometimes these support groups, somebody comes by, they pick them up, they get them to the support group. It kind of keeps them from going back to the bottle or going back to their drug addiction. It complicates the problem.
And you never know, some people are really good at disguising that kind of thing in public or around friends or family, but when they're by themselves, that's when the demons really start to come back out.
Right, so they really, it's working in Columbiana County, and again, sometimes these are the hardest people to get into counseling, and they're finding a lot of success with this Double Trouble support group. You can find out more by contacting Columbiana County's Mental Health Board.
All right.